Okay, grade 3, week 2 and chapter 2 of the Firebird. The Tsar was pleased to have it confirmed for him that it was the Firebird that had been stealing his apples, and he praised Ivan for staying awake and snatching a feather from the bird. The Tsar took the feather in his hand and said, "I want this bird. Whoever brings the Firebird to me shall have half of my kingdom." Dmitri and Vasily were jealous that their younger brother had stayed awake and seen the Firebird when they had failed. So they set off together on their horses to find the Firebird, their minds fixed on making their father proud of them. Tsar Vislav waved them off and wished them well. But when Ivan asked if he could go off in search of the Firebird, the Tsar was dismissive. "Ivan, you did brilliantly to stay awake to witness the Firebird stealing my golden apples, but to go off on a dangerous journey is another thing entirely. You are still young and have much to learn about the world." Ivan's eyes opened wide in disbelief, and he opened his mouth to argue, but then thought better of it. Instead, he shrugged and skulked away to his chamber, where he hastily grabbed a few items and set off on one of the mares from his father's stables. Ivan had noticed the direction in which the frantic Firebird had taken off, and he set out to follow it. He soon reached a forest. Forests, of course, are always darker than elsewhere, but Ivan felt sure that this forest was particularly dark. There was a thin mist, and Ivan felt uneasy as he led his horse along the sandy path which ran through the forest. After a while, Ivan came to a split in the path. There were 3 paths ahead of him, and right in front of him was a stone about the same height as himself, which bore this ominous message: "Travel by the middle path, and you will endure hunger and cold. Travel by the path to the left, and you will not live to come out of this forest, though your horse shall live. Travel by the path to the right, and you will survive, but your horse will die." Ivan's first response at reading this was to turn around and gallop for home. However, he knew he could never return home without the Firebird, so he thought for a minute. The best option had to be to take the path to the right. The path took them deep into the forest, where the branches hung so low over the path that Ivan had to almost lie flat on the saddle to fit beneath them. They reached a clearing, and it was there that Ivan saw a grey wolf. This wolf was significantly bigger than any wolf Ivan had seen before. His horse obviously sensed the danger, as she stood on her hind legs, throwing Ivan to the ground. Before the horse could flee, the wolf swiftly pounced, and to Ivan's amazement, consumed the poor horse in just a couple of mouthfuls. The wolf looked at Ivan curiously, licking his lips. Ivan stared back at the wolf defiantly, then began to continue on his way on foot. The wolf jogged along behind Ivan, caught him up, and then, to Ivan's surprise, spoke to him. "You are a brave young thing. You did not flinch when I came near you. What brings you to my forest?" Ivan stopped walking, looked the wolf straight in the eye, and said, "I am here to trace the Firebird. Do you know where I might find it?" "As it happens, I do," replied the wolf. "Look, I am sorry that I ate your horse. If you climb on my back, I will take you to the Firebird." Without a moment's hesitation, Ivan leapt onto the wolf's back, holding tight as he had a feeling this was not going to be a gentle ride. Sure enough, the wolf took off at a terrifying pace, galloping through the dark forest and then out from the trees and into the open countryside. He headed purposefully to the walls of the next kingdom, and it was there that he stopped. The wolf was not a bit out of breath. He spoke calmly and sternly to Ivan as he climbed off his back. "Beyond these walls are the magnificent gardens of Tsar Dolmat. In one of these gardens you will find the Firebird in a cage hanging from a bracket on a wall. Reach into the cage and grab the sleeping Firebird. Whatever you do, though, do not touch the cage in which she rests." "Thank you, wolf," said Ivan, as he clambered nimbly over the wall. He wandered from garden to garden, and eventually his eyes fell on the Firebird again. As the wolf had predicted, she was sleeping peacefully and was in the most dazzling cage. Ivan saw the cage of pure shining gold, and he said to himself, "It will be far easier to carry the bird in the cage, rather than risk grabbing the bird and waking her." As soon as his finger touched the gold cage, deafening alarm bells went off. Ivan instinctively covered his ears, and almost immediately he found guards appearing all around him. End of chapter 2.